Storytelling Cafe, and it is Friday, so it's stories for children, and we have all the way from Marrakech, Fiona Dowling in the World Storytelling Cafe.
Welcome everybody. I'm excited and delighted to be speaking to you today from the World Storytelling Cafe in Marrakech. As I'm a very lucky storyteller, I get to spend 2 weeks on a storytelling residency here in Marrakech, thanks to the Arts Council of Ireland, Yarn Storytelling Festival in Bray in Ireland, and the World Storytelling Cafe here in Marrakech. So I hope you're very comfortable wherever you're sitting all around the world. I'm comfortable here, so let's start. Now, before we get into the stories, you might have noticed that I speak English with a little kind of an accent. Well, don't you worry, I've got a little song for you so that your ears get used to funny accents and your mouth get used to making them, so soon you and me will be the same, we'll all be speaking in funny accents. So, the lyrics of the song are quite simple. They are, I like to eat apples and bananas. Now, even if you don't like to eat apples and bananas, you can try singing that with me. Let's go. I like to eat. I like to eat apples and bananas. I like to eat. I like to eat apples and bananas. Now you can sing with me from your homes. I like to eat. I like to eat apples and bananas. I like to eat. I like to eat apples and bananas. Alright, now that you've got the basic melody, we're gonna transform the song. And we're gonna change all the vowels. Now, vowels, maybe it's a complicated word, it's all the sounds like A, O, I, E, U. We're gonna change them all into O. Are you ready? 1, 2, 3. Oh, look to oat, oh, look to oat, opus o bananas, oh, look to oat, oh, look to oat, opus o bananas. Did you manage it? Well done if you did. So, are you ready for another? Now we're gonna go with A. I like to at. I like to at. Apples and bananas, I like to at. I like to at. Apples and bananas. When I do this one, I feel like I've got a cold. Now let's go to oo. Ooh, look to oot. Ooh, look to oot. Oopus o bananas, ooh, look to oot. Ooh, look to oot. Oopus o bananas. Now, let's go to A. A like to eat. A like to eat. Apples and bananas. A like to eat. A like to eat. Apples and bananas. And one left. We're gonna go and replace all the vowels of the song with E. Ready? 1, 2, 3. I like to eat. I like to eat. Apples and bananas. I like to eat. I like to eat. Apples and bananas. Give yourself a big round of applause. And if you've enjoyed this, you might pick one of the vowels and speak in that vowel for the whole rest of the day. So, we've done a little silly song about silly accents. Now, I think we're ready for a story. And in that story, sometimes I put a little bit of an accent as well. It's a Spanish story. So, let me begin. Once upon a time, in Spain, there lived a little cockroach in the countryside. Her name was Martina. Martina the cockroach. She had a lovely brown body and 2 little black antennas. And she had a little house that was sparkling like a cup of gold because there was nothing that Martina loved more than looking after our house. Every day, you could find her either sweeping the floor of our house, or cleaning her windows, or dusting the little objects on our shelves. One day, she was sweeping the floor of our house, and she found something on the floor. She picked it up. It was small and round. You might have guessed. It was a coin. What am I going to do with this coin? Thought Martina. Oh, maybe I could buy a new pair of shoes. No, there is not enough in this coin for shoes. Maybe I could buy a new dress. No, a dress would be too expensive for this coin. And then she had the right idea. I know, I'm gonna buy face powder. This is something I need and something I don't have. So Martina went to town with her coin and she bought some face powder. Then she went back home and she had a long bath with bubbles. And then she put the face powder not just on her face, but all over her body. All over her body. Achoo! Then she put on her favorite dress and she went to the balcony to take some air. And she thought, if Perez the rat sees me like this, he will want to invite me to the dance tonight. But who comes along? Not Perez the rat, no, but Mr. Cat. And Mr. Cat was looking very smart. He had lived all his fur the right way because he was on his way to a wedding. But when he saw Martina on her balcony, he went straight over to her and he said, "Oh, Martina, you look very lovely today. Would you like to go to the dance with me tonight?" And Martina said, I don't know. Maybe yes, maybe no. How will you speak to me when we dance? And the cat said, "It is easy. I will say, meow, 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 meow." And Martina said, "Oh no, stop. You scare me. Go away at once." And the cat went away. A little while later, came in Mr. Dog. He was also looking very smart because he too was on his way to a wedding. And his owner had shampooed him all over. It smelled delicious. Now he saw Martina on her balcony and he went straight over to her. "Oh, Martina, Martina, you look very nice today. Would you like to come to the dance with me tonight?" And Martina said, "I don't know. Maybe yes, maybe no. How will you speak to me when we dance?" And the dog said, "Ruff, ruff, 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 ruff." And Martina said, "Oh no, you are too rough. Go away at once." And the dog went away. A little while later came Mr. Pig, all round and pink. He saw Martina on her balcony and he went straight over to her. Martina, you look very lovely today. Would you like to come to the dance with me tonight?" And Martina said, "I don't know. Maybe yes, maybe no. How will you speak to me when we dance?" And the pig said, and Martina went, "Oh no, you are putting mud all over my dress. Go away now." And the pig sadly went away. Next came in Mr. Rooster, with his feathers all shiny and bright. He saw Martina on her balcony and he went straight over to her and he said, "Oh, Martina, you look very lovely today. Would you like to come to the dance with me tonight?" And Martina said, "I don't know. Maybe yes, maybe no. How will you speak to me when we dance?" And the rooster said, "It is easy. I will say, cock-a-doodle-doo, I love you." "Oh, how tasteless," thought Martina. "Go away at once." And the rooster sadly went away. Meanwhile, in the sky was Mr. Eagle. And Mr. Eagle had been watching it all. And he thought, they just don't know how to speak to women. I will show them. and he swooped down onto Martina's balcony. And he said, "Well, well, well, Martina, Martina, you look pretty gorgeous today. How about you and me go to the fiesta tonight? I will sweep you off your feet." "Oh no," said Martina, "don't sweep my little feet. Go away with your big wings." And the eagle went away. This is where, in the distance, you could hear the voice of Perez the rat, and he was singing a little song. It went like this. Cockroach Martina, Cockroach Martina, do you wanna dance? Do you wanna dance? Perez the rat is here to invite you, invite you. It's Perez! Martina fixed her dress and she fixed her antennas. And in he came. He was wearing freshly ironed pants and a straw hat. And when he saw Martina, he went straight over to her and he said, "Oh Martina, gorgeous maiden, you look very dazzling today. Would you do me the great honor of coming to the dance with me tonight?" And Martina said, "Maybe yes, maybe no. How will you speak to me when we dance?" And Perez said, "It's easy. I will say, because that is the way I love you." Said Martina, "How beautiful, how fine. Oh Perez, I love the way you speak to me, and I would love to go to the dance with you tonight." And this is how that night at the great dance, Martina the cockroach and Perez the rat waltzed together all night long. And you know, it's not only a coin that Martina found on our floor that day, but it is true love. And I wish the same to every single one of you. Now, we have done a song, we have done a story. I think it is time for a little trick. Here is a riddle and a question for you. What animal? Oh, you might want to take a piece of paper and a pen or a pencil. My question to you is, what animal do you get with the letters E, O, M, W, W, S? Now I'm going to show them to you. So, E, O, M, W, W, S. Now you don't need to speak a foreign language, and you're allowed to place the letters anywhere you want on a page, and you can even turn them a little bit. So I might leave you a little bit of time to guess, and while you're guessing, I will play a little tune. Now, have you guessed? What animal do you get with the letters E, O, M, W, W, S? Well, let's see. If I place the E like this, you might, if you haven't guessed already, you might guess as I'm drawing it. If I place the M like this, if I place the W here, and another one there, if I place an O here, and an S there, what do I guess? Now, a clue is It featured in the previous story. Now, let me join the dots. Yes, you get a pig. Well done if you found it. And if you haven't found it, well, now you know it, and you can share this trick with your parents or your friends at school, or brothers and sisters if you have them. Alright, now it is time for a second story. Because we are here in Morocco, I will tell you about a Moroccan story that I love. Here in Morocco, if you look on the horizon, you might see, in Marrakech, you might see some mountains. And they are the Atlas Mountains. Once upon a time, in the Atlas Mountains, there lived a lumberjack called Mimoun. Now, a lumberjack is somebody who chops trees for a living. Now, Mimoun was pretty good at his work. He was strong enough to handle the axe, and he was smart enough that when he cut the trees didn't fall right on top of him, but they fell in the other direction. And yet, Mimoun didn't love his job because every day he was scared. He was scared of the forest animals. He was scared that one day a lion would come into the forest and eat him up. Every day he would think about lions, lions, lions. And even when he stopped working at lunchtime to eat a little something, if there was a little bit of a sound of a twig breaking or rustling of leaves, he'd look to see if a lion was behind him. And it was one of those days where Mimoun had sat with his back against the trunk of a tree just to have a little rest. And he was so tired and at the same time so afraid. And he thought, I cannot continue with this life. It is so hard to be me, Mimoun the lumberjack, and to be afraid all the time. Oh, I wish I could be a lion. I wish I could be the king of the jungle. I wish I could be the strongest and not be afraid of anything or anyone. And as he wished this with all his heart, Mimoun felt something change in his body. He felt his limbs becoming more slender and stronger. And all of a sudden, a golden duvet appeared on all of his limbs. Yes, he was turning into a lion, and he could roar, and he could pounce, and he could jump, and he could run. If he was hungry, oh, a little mouse. Delicious. It felt so good being Mimoun the lion. And so he walked, and he ran, and he rested, and walked and ran and rested, and life was perfect. Until the moment when he heard some human voices. Oh, humans! I had forgotten about humans. Humans have guns! Well, all of a sudden, Mimoun the lion started to feel very scared, and he looked for a cave in which to hide. And he hid there, at the bottom of the cave. And then he saw children, and the children started singing a song. Ooh, the scaredy lion, ooh, the scaredy lion, ooh, ooh, the scaredy lion. And Mimoun thought, oh no, when there's children, there's parents, and maybe the parents have guns. I must escape. And Mimoun found a little exit to his cave, and he went down it, and he ran away as fast as he could from the children. And he thought, it's not a good life being Mimoun the lion. No, it's better to be a powerful man, to be a king. Oh, if I was a king, everybody would obey me. It would be so good. Just as he said that, he felt himself becoming taller. And his hair, his fur disappeared. And instead there was a beautiful velvet cloak and a crown of gold. Oh, it felt good being a king. Mimoun the king walked around ordering about everything. Yes, trees, you must obey me. Grass, you must obey me. Mountain, you must obey me. I am the king. And as Mimoun was walking under the sun, he started to feel very hot. His crown was becoming burning, and his cloak of velvet made him sweat. And he looked up at the sun and thought, no, really, the best would be to be a sun. And just as he said that, he felt himself becoming higher and higher and higher, and he was now glowing, radiating generous heat. He was Mimoun the sun. Oh, it felt so good. When he looked down, people seemed happy to see him. And he started to shine on the whole of Morocco. And then he decided to shine on the whole of Spain, and to shine on the whole of France, and to shine on the whole of Ireland. But hold on a second. What are these fluffy things? But get out of my way! Get out of my way, you... There were clouds, you might have guessed. And the clouds did not seem to obey Mimoun the sun. And at that moment he thought, oh, I just want to be a cloud. And then Mimoun was all of a sudden so light and so fluffy. Sometimes he was white, sometimes he was grey, sometimes in the morning or the evening he was even orange or pink. Oh, that was the life. When all of a sudden, stop pushing me! What's that? Whoa. It was the wind. And he thought, oh no, I just need to be the wind. And then he transformed again. And he was sometimes a little wind, sometimes a big wind, sometimes a storm. And it was fun. If he blew over the sea, he could make the waves bigger. And if he blew on top of little boats, he could make them go faster. If he blew on top of people, he could make them lose their hats. If he blew on top of women, he could make their skirts fly off. It was so lovely to be the wind. Soon he found himself back over the forest in the Atlas Mountain. And he had fun making music through blowing in the leaves of the trees. And then he thought, oh, let's try to see if I can knock over a tree with my strength. And he started to blow, and to blow, and to blow. But the tree stayed upright. And out of frustration he thought, oh, if only I could be a tree. And there he was. Solid, still, full of beautiful leaves, beautiful colors, full of flowers, full of the songs of the birds. He was a tree, and that felt good. Until, ouch! 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 What is this? It was the axe of a lumberjack. And he thought, oh, if only I... And then he woke up. He woke up, and he was still Mimoun, the lumberjack. Well, after that day, Mimoun realized that it wasn't so bad to be a lumberjack, and he accepted that he was Mimoun, the lumberjack. And then he was a little bit scared, quite often. And once he accepted that, he was happy. And soon he fell in love with a beautiful woman from his village. And they had children, boys, who maybe one day would become lumberjack too and help their father in his work. Now, in that story, we have chopped a few trees. So I think it is important that we plant some as well. And there comes my next story, for which I will need your help with your hands. So I invite you to put a hand like this, and that will be your garden in the story. And with your other hand, well, you will be many different things. So I will do it once, and then you can do it with me. This is my garden. I plant some seeds in my garden. I cover them with rich brown earth. I let the sun shine brightly on my garden. I let the rain fall gently on my garden. I wait. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 young trees have grown. Now, are you ready to do this with me? So, get your hands ready, and off we go. This is my garden. I plant some seeds in my garden. I cover them with rich, dark soil. I let the sun shine brightly on my garden. I let the rain fall gently on my garden. I wait. And suddenly, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 young trees appear. Now, together with me, we have planted 10 trees. So, give yourself a pat on the back. Very well done to you all. And now, it's time for another little story. So, for that story, if you were all together with me in the same space, I would invite you to do a soundscape. Now, a soundscape is like a landscape, but with sounds. So you can still do it from your living room or wherever you are watching the Zoom, and we're going to make the soundscape of a busy city. Now, if you think of what might be in a busy city, you might think cars, maybe loud music, maybe how do you call it? Like that. So, at the count of 3, I invite you to help me and join me in the soundscape of a busy city. 1, 2, 3. Stop! Go! Wah! Strawberries for Europe! Once upon a time, in a slightly mad city, lived a slightly mad young man. He never spoke. If you talked to him, he would shrug his shoulders or grunt. He was what some people call a teenager. His parents were worried about him, and every night they spoke. "Where is our darling little boy? He used to be so kind and so helpful and so cheerful, so happy. Now all he does is grunts and sulks." And then the mother had an idea. She said to the father, "How about we bring him to his uncle the farmer to spend the summer? Maybe that would do him some good." The father thought, excellent idea. So soon, when the summer holidays came, they packed the boy into a car as well as loads and loads of food, and off they went to the uncle, the farmer. When they got there, the uncle gave his nephew a tour of the farm. And he said, "You can do anything you like. If you like building, you can help me build the shed. If you like looking after animals, you can help me with the cows, the sheep, or the hens. If you like gardening and farming, well, you can help me plowing or harvesting or weeding. There's plenty for you to do. You can do whatever you like, whatever you prefer." "I can do whatever I like?" checked the young man. "Oh, absolutely, my nephew." Well, there was one thing that the boy wanted, and it wasn't looking after the animals, it wasn't building the shed, and it wasn't looking after the vegetables either. He had spotted a big tree in the yard, and all he wanted to do was to climb on top of it, and that's what he did. At that point of the story, I invite my audience to join me in the soundscape of a tree. So from your living room, you can do whatever sounds you imagine can happen in a tree. Could be the sounds of birdsong, the sounds of leaves rustling, the sounds of flowers growing if you can make that sound. So at the count of 3, please join me in the soundscape of a tree. 1, 2, 3. Well, after 3 weeks of nobody disturbing him, nobody calling him, nobody coming near him, except occasionally to fill up the basket of food he had dangling off a rope. One fine day, the young man climbed down from the tree. And when he did, he looked kind, peaceful, cured, happy. And he was stretching like a cat in the sun. He was chatty, and he was fun, full of projects, as if all of a sudden he had a life to live. Thank you for all your sound effects. Now, I think it is time for a little riddle. It's one of my favorites, and it's really short and simple, I hope. What starts with T, finishes with T, and is full of tea? What starts with T, finishes with T, and is full of tea? I will not give you the answer straight away, but I will tell you a little drawing story, which might have a clue, contain a clue. Let me see what color will I use. And this is a Japanese little story. Once upon a time, there was a little girl called Mayumi. And one day, she fell down the stairs and hit her head against the floor. She hit her head so hard that it gave her a little bump. Now, her big brother came and he put a bandage all around Mayumi's head. And do you think she thanked her older brother? No, what she did was she stuck her tongue at him. And just then, before they had time to get into an argument, Mayumi's mother came and she said, "Let's have a cup of tea." And that is my little story. Now, do you remember the riddle? I start with tea, I finish with tea, and I'm full of tea. And the answer was a teapot. So well done if you have guessed it. So, this puts me onto the subject of drinks. And my next story has a drink in it. And my next story is from Ireland. That's where I live normally when I'm not in a residency in Marrakech. So let me tell you that story. Once upon a time, in the west of Ireland, there was a father who lived with his 3 daughters. Now he was raising them on his own because their mother, sadly, had passed away when the daughters were still very young. And so their father was like a mother and a father to them. He was able to sing them lullabies before going to bed. He was able to plait their hair into beautiful dresses. He was able to fix their clothes if they had a hole. He was able to cook them their favorite food. And not only that, he could teach them how to climb trees, like in the previous story. He could teach them to ride a bike, and he could teach them to fix the bike. So you see, those girls were in the good hands with their father. But their favorite thing about their dad was that after dinner, every day, they had a special moment when their father would pick up an instrument from the wall, usually a fiddle. He would start playing a tune, and the girls would dance and dance and dance all around the kitchen table until they were exhausted and would go to bed. On this particular evening, things didn't go as planned when, after dinner, after they had cleared the table and put everything away, their father stood up and said, "Sorry girls, I'm just not in very good shape. I think I'm getting a cold or something, so I'm just gonna go straight to bed. Tonight, no music." And so sadly, he turned his back on the girls and he walked to his bedroom and closed the doors. The girls were so disappointed. They had been waiting the whole day for this moment where they would dance around the table. And so they had a little meeting. The youngest daughter said, "What can we do for that to get better?" And the oldest said, "Well, what would Grandma do?" And then the middle one said, "Oh, Grandma, she would make a special drink with the rum or something." "Oh yes, I know," said the oldest. So all three of them started to gather the different bits and pieces they needed to make this drink. So one gathered the rum, one heat up the water, another one got some sugar, another one got some lemon, another one got some cloves, and in no time they had made for their father a hot rum. And then the three of them went to knock at his door and to give it to him. He was so touched. He said, "Oh, thank you, my sweethearts. You are so kind to me. You are so good to me. I don't deserve you." And he took the drink from their hand, wished them good night, and closed the door. Now they all went to bed. And in the morning, the girls were so anxious to know if their dad was feeling any better. And they were reassured to see that he was there in the kitchen making porridge. So the oldest one came to him and said, "Did the rum do?" He smiled. And then the middle one said, "Did the rum do that?" He smiled a little bit more. And then the little one tugged on his jumper and she said, "Did the rum do, Daddy?" And then he cracked into a big, beautiful smile and he said, "I think we might have a song in this." And he went, "Did the rum do, did the rum do, did the rum do, Daddy? Did the rum do, did the rum do, did the rum do, Daddy? Did the rum do, did the rum do, did the rum do, Daddy? Did the rum do, did the rum do, did the rum do, Daddy? Did the rum doodle, did the rum doodle, I diddly idle dum. Did the rum doodle, did the rum doodle, did the rum doodle da rum. Did the rum doodle, did the rum doodle, I diddly idle dum. Did the rum doodle, did the rum doodle, did the rum doodle da rum." Well, the girls applauded and they started to dance all around the kitchen table. And they said that day they didn't go to school because they danced and they danced and they danced all day and all night long. Did rum doodle, I diddly idle dum. Did rum doodle, did rum doodle da rum. Did rum doodle, I diddly idle dum. Did rum doodle da rum. Now, I hope you enjoyed this and that maybe some of you were dancing around the kitchen table as well. Now, let me see, how am I doing for time? Maybe one last little thing. So, I don't think I introduced to you my instrument properly. This is called an mbera. It's an instrument from Zimbabwe. It's my favorite instrument. The song that I played for you earlier was called Chamtangure. Chamtangure is not a word, it's the sound that a chariot makes on a bumpy road, and it goes Chamtangure, Chamtangure, Chamtangure. It's a bit like the song The Wheels of the Bus Go Round and Round, except with a chariot. So I'm gonna play it for you, and if you want, you can sing it with me. So from your homes, and I will tell you the way it goes. So for you, there's only one word, and that's Chemtangure. So I sing Chemtangure, and you sing Chemtangure. I sing Chemtangure. You sing Chemtangure. I sing Chemtangure vakomana. You sing Chemtangure. I sing Chemtangure vasikana. And you sing Chemtangure. Now, let's try it. Chemtangure, you're Chemtangure, Chemtangure, and you Chemtangure, Chemtangure vakomana, Chemtangure, Chemtangure vasikana, Chemtangure. Now we're coming to the end of our time together. Thank you so much for your listening and for your singing, because I imagine you're singing and making sounds along from your homes. And I was delighted to spend this moment with you and to share a bit of the atmosphere of Marrakech and the World Storytelling Cafe. So I wish you a very good day or a very good evening, depending on what time it is where you live, and I hope we meet again soon.
That was great, Fiona. Now, what's coming up? Well, I'll tell you. In fact, I'll walk around and tell you because I haven't got my diary in front of me. But I will know what's coming up because I've got the diary downstairs. And, well, I know what's coming up Sunday. Sunday the 22nd is Worldwide Story Round, hosted by Mike Russ. So come on, tell a story, read a poem, do something. Next Friday is just getting to the bag, where I've got my diary because I'm about to go somewhere. Right, here it goes. So it is Friday, it will be Friday the 29th, I think, or something like that. Friday the 27th is Despina Ario. Marvellous. Despina is back with us all the way from Greece. She might even be in this country at the moment. But meanwhile,